Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I found three articles that are related to one another, but each of them has its own flavor. And I think it shows the three different facets of the conflict in Ukraine, seen and being an issue from the NATO side, from the countries of the good side. I made a video a minute ago on one of those articles, and now I'm going to go to another one, which is, it seems like the United States would like to freeze the war in Ukraine. So what is freezing a war? That means keep it running, but a very low intensity. It was something that occurred, if you remember, in Korea. It just waned away. Both parties, both sides started, fighting less and less and less until it kind of died without any, peace negotiations or anything like that. It was just, this is the line of the conflict. We don't sign any peace treaty between the two parties, and that's it. So why is that? Why is that? Why would the Americans, according to this piece of information from Politico, want to do that? Well, that could be many factors. The elections, could be the economy, could be people get tired of this, could be lack of ammunition anymore, support. The Americans, the NATO, not Americans, but let's put the whole group. NATO put everything they got in there. Aside from, except military personnel fighting actively as a military, as I said in the other video, like 50,000 French troops going over there or 1 million American troops going over there, and nuclear weapons. Almost everything else they gave them. Maybe they didn't give them the best, but I don't think they're eager to give it the best because they're afraid that actually the weapons they're going to supply the Ukrainians might end up in other people's hands, and they know it, or been blown up and would be bad for business, if you know what I mean. If your Patriot system gets blown up by the first Kinzhal, I don't know, the Germans won't buy Patriot anymore. They might look for, S-400, S-500, or who knows what. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's the same. We're not gonna send F-16s in Ukraine to fight the Russians because they will be shot down and then bad for business. So those F-16s will be used against, countries like, Belize or something like Romania, countries that have First World War anti-airplane defense systems, if you know what I mean. I'm exaggerating, but not really. So here we have this article. I'm going to discuss it. And it is coming from the evil guys from Russia Today, so don't believe it, right? 18th of May 2023, US wants to freeze Ukraine conflict, Politico says. Officials believe that a division much like that in Korea would cost Washington less money and political capital, the outlet claims. The administration of the US President Joe Biden is reportedly considering, and I'm quoting, freezing the conflict in Ukraine for the foreseeable future instead of pushing for the country's victory, according to sources cited by Politico on Thursday. So this is from Politico, not from Russia Today or anything like that. 3 serving and 1 former US official told the outlet that a long-term, low-intensity standoff was currently being discussed in the White House. The former official compared the possible scenario to how the Korean War of the early 1950s ended in an armistice. There was no formal peace agreement, with both Pyongyang and Seoul claimed sovereignty over the entire Korean peninsula and a demilitarized zone separating the two parts. Russia will never agree to such a thing. And I'm quoting, a Korea-style stoppage is certainly something that's been discussed by experts and analysts in and out of government, end quote, the source said. And I'm quoting again, it's plausible because neither side would need to recognize any new borders, and the only thing that would have to be agreed is to stop shooting along a set line. No, the Russians will still have those 4 demands. No NATO troops over there, and the Ukrainian side will have to be demilitarized. Without that, nothing's gonna happen. I guarantee you that, 99%. The benefits for the US would be that a frozen conflict would be less costly for Western nations and draw less public attention and consequently less pressure to assist Kiev, and the outlet explained. Ukraine would still be aligned with Washington and continue switching its military to NATO standards as it seeks to join the bloc someday. That would not be ever agreed by the Russians, I tell you that. I don't know if the Ukrainians will agree to everything that I said or they said here, but the Russians will not agree with that. And I'm quoting, the Korean scenario for Ukraine drew media attention in January after Alexei Danilov, Alexei, the secretary of the country's National Security Council, the guy that I like a lot, claimed in an interview that Moscow had sent a top official to European capitals to promote it. The Kremlin denied the reports and claimed Danilov may have mistaken a Ukrainian politician's surname Kazak for his namesake in the Russian government, whom he identified as the messenger. Dmitry Medvedev, the deputy chair of the Russian Security Council, argued that Danilov's words were meant for, and I'm quoting, domestic consumption, end quote, so the Ukrainian government could measure the public reaction to it. The Russian official mused that, and I'm quoting, being split is the best case scenario, end quote, for Kiev under the circumstances. Moscow called NATO's expansion in Europe and its creeping takeover of Ukraine without its formal accession as one of the key reasons for sending troops against its neighbor. Oh, I thought it was unprovoked. The conflict Russia has maintained is part of a US proxy war against it, in which Ukrainians serve as cannon fodder. Well, like in any conflict, verbal conflict or physical conflict, you always ask both sides, hey, why did you get into this? Hey, why did you get into this? The problem here, these guys are pushing us into asking only one side. Hey, what happened? Well, they attacked us. It was unprovoked. The bad dudes. Okay, man, we gotta do something. Unprovoked, these bad dudes attacked. They never ask the other side. And if the other side says something, they dismiss it. Oh no, what? You say his gun was at your temple, loaded, cocked? And you got all stressed because of that? Come on, man, you're better than that. You know, important stuff for the other side, you dismiss. Security concerns for you, Russia? We're the good guys here. We're just going to put about a few missiles over there by your border, defending Ukraine from Iran. And you'll be okay, man. You don't believe us? Jesus Christ, you're a bad dude. What's your evidence? I can hear you. That's all it is. So they want to freeze this war, and the reasons are multiple. As I said, ammunition. Let me show you that article that I have ready here. Supposedly, this is another reason that the Western partners, which is NATO, are short on weapons and can't churn them out fast enough to fuel a counterpart for long, defense experts say. And this comes from Business Insider. So this is another reason. You can't have, you need that small, splendid little war or something like this. Was that characterized with a Mexican little splendid war the U.S. had with Spain? Right after the Havana Club, after Havana Bay incident. Anyway, my friends, it seems like, all these three articles came today. So it's like a button to get us ready maybe for something. Both sides will claim victory, don't have any expectations, but the Russians will not bend the four demands. But that was why they say they started a war, even though this guy said it was unprovoked. But you know how it goes. I just showed you. So money for nothing and chicks for free, and then you got the elections in United States of America, and not only. Not that really matters, but the inflation, banks collapsing, gas prices going up, groceries, and so on. All these things together might have even the weasels say, yeah, but it hurts me. I don't like what you're doing. I don't care what you're doing over there. I want my latte. I want my soybean latte. All right. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.